This is beautiful. What's up, ladies? Oh my God, this. Let's talk about it. Let's just watch this. Let's just watch this. This is day one. Let's see this. Oh my God. Look at Trey, man. Oh, underwhelming my ass. Let's go, man. The league ain't ready, man. This shit is gonna be unbelievable. Underwhelming my ass. It's overwhelming for me. Oh my God, I cannot wait for this season. Football is getting closer. Oh my, Trey Lance is gonna be fucking amazing. This media, you know what? I cannot wait because the media is gonna look so stupid. Oh man, look at Trey, man. What's up, TMJ Football? How's it going? I can't wait. I appreciate you guys for hitting up the YouTube earlier. We were live. Oh my God, man, I can't wait. My man says it's not looking good for Deebo. It's voluntary. They don't need to be there. He's throwing checkdowns, calm down. Well, that's what Jimmy did his whole career with the Niners, and y'all were excited for that. So let me have this. This is what the offense is. The Niners throw checkdowns. And if he can do those damn good, wait till he throws the deep pass. That's all I'm going to say. Oh, my God. Eric Davis looks like he has a new account. I don't know if it's the real Eric Davis. There's a lot of trolls on there, but if that's the new Eric Davis, make sure y'all follow him. How's everybody doing? Happy Monday. I don't know if that's the real Eric Davis. I'm not going to get fooled because I'm looking at his Instagram right now. I don't know. I'm looking toasted. I'm tired, man. Monday was like so busy today. You got to drink water. He says, it's me. All right, I'll believe you. Am I watching the Heat game? Yeah, I'm watching. It's halftime. Am I going to post a video from today's OTAs? I already did. He did tweet he had to make a new account. Oh. Should we let him in? Should we let him in? Should let him in? Request? I don't know if it's really him. He said he tweeted it on... Oh. Let's see. Let's see. Got a request. We'll let you in, my man. Oh, he did. That is him. He did. I'm looking at it right now. Oh, this is him. We got to get we'll get him in here. Let's get them, and then he can tell us the story. He had to make a new account. It looks like. There he is. I didn't believe you.
Rod, you think I'd lie to you, man?
I don't know, man. You've seen what happens in these lives, man.
No, man. No, man. They got me.
They got you.
Yeah, they got me, man, and got me good too. So you people be careful. I got this deal. Not only did they get me, I got something that came and it looked like it was from Instagram.
Yeah.
That told me I had been hacked and that I needed to put in this code or whatever because I couldn't get into my it like stopped it and I couldn't get into it. And they were like, put this code in. So yeah, so it gave me a link to go through and all of that crap. So
Now they get you.
So guess what? You get to talk to me on this account.
Good. Well, everybody that's here, go give my man a follow. Eric Davis, he's back. Unfortunately, he got hacked. It happened to me. It's tragic. But luckily, I was able to get my account back. And I was dying when I lost my account. But I knew someone that worked for Facebook, and he was able to help me with the account. But
so now you don't. So now you tell me that.
You didn't reach out to me. I didn't know.
Now you tell me that, Rod. So no, you could have let everybody know that before. Now you tell me. I thought we were boys. I thought we were like that, man.
Boys.
I thought you and I were there, but I'm glad the people see. I'm glad the people see exactly who you are.
I let you. You didn't let me know. I just found out right now.
You're right, man. You're right. You're right. Okay, what's happening in the world of Niners today?
So today, OTA started. Obviously, they give us a little teaser trailer. I mean, that's fun and dandy. They signed a tight end, depth tight end, whatever.
Okay.
He didn't show up to OTAs, but I don't think that's a big deal because it's not
It's
mandatory.
it's
Yeah.
OTAs. No veteran needs to show up to OTAs anyway. People, do you understand that OTAs? It's conditioning. You're just getting in shape. You're working
Yeah.
out. I played the majority of my career, and there was no such thing as OTAs. They expected us to get ourselves in shape.
Oh, they didn't have it back.
No, when I came
No.
to the league, there was no off-season conditioning. There was none of that stuff. Do you know the only reason they have OTAs? The absolute only reason the league implemented OTAs is
Why is that?
so knuckleheads can stay out of trouble.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Do you know a coach's worst nightmare? Absolute worst nightmare for a coach, for an organization, anything. Free time for rich young men.
Yeah, they get in trouble.
So
Yeah.
OTAs give them a reason to require you to be in the building, to be in the city, as opposed to being in Spain acting a fool, or in Rio, at Carnival. And that's seriously, that's the only reason. That's the only reason they implemented it, because they wanted to find a way to keep you in the building year round. That's it. There's no other reason.
I mean, if you keep them busy, they're going to stay out of trouble. That makes sense because you're paying
In
these.
theory.
You don't want them to screw it up because the Niners, especially, let's talk about the Niners have had some players that have made some boneheaded moves. Aldon Smith, Reuben Foster, and they get in trouble. So I can see why they do it, but I don't think they necessarily. You're right. The players know how to keep
Yeah.
themselves in control.
Yes. And I just saw somebody put on there, well, it's organized. Well, guess what? As players, we used to do it ourselves. The DBs would all work out together. We would do our things. The wide receivers, the running back, offensive linemen would work out together. Guys always worked out. And
Yeah.
how do you guys think we won so many games? It was organized. We just ran it ourselves. We didn't need a coach to tell us to get up and show up at the track or be at the gym. And the players today don't need it. I'm telling you, it's only because they want to keep an eye on the guys. That's it. No other reason. So
That's smart.
Deebo not being there is no big deal.
It's not a big deal. Now, to me, the big deal is when it's a mandatory camp, right? When it's like you have to be there.
Yes.
That's when it makes sense, right? Because and it's kind of like, okay, now he's expected to be here and he's not here. That's when
yes, because the involuntary camps they're involuntarily mandatory because again, it gives them a reason to look poorly upon you if you don't show up. That's why everybody talks about it. But remember, it's not mandatory. When you don't show up for the mandatory camps, it's a problem because they can take money from you.
Yeah, they can find you.
Yeah. But I mean, dude, it's May. It's May. Who cares?
The NBA.
Who cares?
Deebo was in Dallas last night celebrating with the Warriors. Let him do his thing, man.
Thank you. It's May. Deebo missing, not practicing, or missing I mean, literally, there's nothing that they can do right now. There's nothing that they can do that is going to help them in September win a football game. Not today. I'm sorry, people.
I agree, and I'm on your side of this. I think it's not a big deal to me. Again, I think maybe for the rookies to show like they have to be there because it's like
different for rookies.
First year school, you want to make a good impression to the coaches. You want
to learn. You want to learn the language. You got to learn. You got to learn the playbook. You got to learn how to be a pro. So it's different for a vet. Raj, I can tell you right now, after about year 4, I was guaranteed to miss at least 3 weeks of training camp.
Wow. Training camp?
Oh, hell yeah. I was gonna schedule and later on I started scheduling surgeries. Like if I needed, because I tore up my shoulder, so I was constantly having to get my shoulder cleaned out or my ankle.
Okay.
There's no reason for me to get that cleaned out in April or February and miss my vacation time with my family. I'm gonna do that when it's time to go to camp, and why not miss 3-4 weeks in training camp because I know the playbook.
Yeah, that's true.
A vet, and I'm gonna tell you guys this: Deebo he's a veteran. He understands how to play and what to do. Give me 2 good weeks. All I need is 2 weeks and I'm ready to play because I'm going to be in condition. I need 2 weeks to get my timing down, to get back in the flow of playing, to get my breathing down, and then I'm ready to play football. You don't need 6-7 weeks of training camp, man.
Okay.
No, so don't stress. Don't stress.
For a vet, you're right, and that makes sense. You schedule the surgeries and stuff because you're still going to get paid, and if you're doing medical stuff, you don't get fined for it. So you're right.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, also this is the other thing too. As you get older, as you have shown that you can perform, coaches are going to give you time off anyway.
Yeah, they get the vet days.
Yeah, George Seifert used to walk into meetings. I remember in my last couple of years there when George would walk into the meetings and during training camp, George Seifert would walk in and he'd be like, ED, Mert, T-Mac, get out of here. Don't even come back. I don't want to see you guys until I send for you. And I mean, literally, he didn't want us in the meetings. He didn't want us to practice. He was like, go have some fun. Because reason being, he wanted the other guys, the young guys, to get the reps.
Yeah, that makes sense. You got to like you said, you want them to learn.
Yes.
Get into the offense and the defense and make sure they absorb it. You guys know, like you said, you know exactly where to be, where to line up. You know the plays from your left hand to your right hand. So I think
I still know every playbook that I ever had.
Oh wow, you still know the plays. If you could rattle out a play, you just know where.
I still know them. It's no different than you learning multiplication.
Yeah.
Once you know it, you know it. It's not going to change. And football's not that complicated once you understand it, because there's only so much you can do on the football field. And it's just a question of what you're calling, the verbiage you're going to put on what it is you're doing. But, 5-man protection is 5-man protection. 6-man is 6-man. You can call it what you want to call it. But either the tight end stayed in and blocked or he went out, he released. Defensively, you're in a 3-4 or 4-3, you're in an under, you're in an over. There's only so much you can do. Secondary wise, is man, is zone, is too high. There's only so much you can do. So once you learn it, it's not that complicated. So as you play and do it over, it's just a question of honing in and finding how to fudge the system and
fine tune it. Yeah. Fine-tune it. Hone your skills in that little area.
Yeah. And the thing about, like, Roger, if you're the quarterback, you're going to figure. This is the thing that everyone has to know about playing the game. After the first couple of steps, and especially after the first couple of series, I know what you're doing. You know what I'm doing. We're going to figure those things out because we're all professionals. We all get paid really, really well. So we're going to figure those things out. So the trick for me is to try and convince you that what you think I'm about to do, I'm really not going to do. Yeah. And you're trying to make me think what I see you as the quarterback. I see this formation. I see what you're about to do, but you're trying to fool me. And, you're going to wag a little leg out there to get me to look over there and chase some skin. That's what you're trying to do. That's the game. It's a chess match. Because
100% it's a chess match. Yeah. You want to outsmart the other guy. That's exactly what it is. And you see the coaches, they have the strategy. You watch the film. You know the tendencies. If a player does this with his hand here, he's going to do – so you try to figure it out. Yeah, it's 100% what it is. Yeah.
That's it. Oh, yeah. So, all right. So, but let the people know I'm real, man.
I'm glad that you're real. Again, I was like freaking out because there's been times where people, add me in, and it's a troll.
Right. I'm sorry. Right now, I see someone. They're saying if it was that simple, no teams would ever win. No, that's why you see certain teams win over and over and over and over because it is that simple. It really is that simple. And the teams that figure that out, those are the teams that sustain winning year after year. They are perennial winners. That's why certain organizations know it, because they know it, they teach it. That's the philosophy, and they let you know football is not that complicated. it's really not. But I just saw someone on it. They were like, if it's that simple, no teams would ever win. Oh, okay. That comes from someone that probably doesn't understand football as much as
I think it's all about how you You play that. I think somebody said it. They said execution. It's all about how you execute those those um those tasks that you got to do. Like you said, everybody has talent in the league. Everybody has skill in the league.
Yes.
But it depends on how good you are as is extrapolating it and executing and being better than the other team and executing that game plan.
Yes.
It's
Like
game.
right here, I see, on the comment bar right here, it said Tom. So someone's trying to say, well, Tom Brady's been figured out. No,
Yeah.
Tom Brady is better at chess. That's what I'm talking about. It's like Peyton Manning. Like you know what they're going to do because guys, Tom Brady. Let's talk about the greatness of Tom Brady. But think about the other 10 guys in the huddle. Everybody's not on his level. So everybody can't see and do everything the way it is. So it's manipulation and making guys believe that, okay, this play is coming instead of that play. You have formations where things look alike. Now, and what are the nuances? And we've also seen games where Tom Brady has gotten hit in the beak and hit in the face because they were able to figure those things out. So I'm telling you, I'm telling you that's the thing. But a guy who understands how to play the game and play chess better than others, you get in double-digit years in the league. That's what happens.
Yeah.
That's why some of us have longer careers than other guys because we understand that what the opponent is trying to do to us. So
Yeah.
I guess I'm answering questions as they come up here.
I think exactly what it is. You understand what the other people are doing, but I think you understand what needs to be done to keep yourself going. You understand, like you said, you just know how to play chess better than it. It's like in any career, you figure out what you need to do to keep making yourself better in that job. And football is different. Is you go in there, okay, I need this skill set. Let me improve on this skill set. Okay, now I need to learn how to do this. And you're absolutely right. Like you're right. Peyton Manning, this man knew how to read every little aspect of a defense, and he did it. He read a defense better than any defense was going to read him and his ability. So,
well, he knew how the same thing with Tom Brady and Joe Montana and Aaron Rodgers and all these guys and the Drew Breeses. They know how to manipulate what it is you're trying to do. Because that's what I said. They're going to figure out what you're doing. Doesn't matter what the disguise is. It doesn't matter. Now it's about executing and making certain that you can utilize your skill set. Guys, those great Dallas Cowboys teams of the 90s, and they had like 6-8 plays.
They ran the same plays.
They ran the same plays over and over, and you knew what they were going to do.
But you
had to make certain that they didn't get you out of position, or they were going to make it work. All that they need, if they had that much space, they were going to make the play work because that's what they worked on. It was the same with our defenses. We were going to work on having certain angles, certain leverage, and that's the game. And if you get that, then there you go. If not, you got a problem.
Yeah, and I will say that in the NFL, sports in general, but in the NFL, if you have a play and they can't stop it, you're just going to keep doing that same thing until the defense shows you, okay, we finally stopped it. Then you're going to try the next play that they. You're right. It's not like 1,000 plays. It's maybe a handful.
That's ask Green Bay about trying to stop Kaepernick. Ask Green Bay about trying to stop Raheem. You know, if you can't stop him from running, why throw the ball?
Why?
There you go. That's it.
Well, cheap. You're just doing the same play. Well, stop me then. Just stop me.
There it is. So, there we go. All right, Raj. I will let you get back to talking to whatever.
Last question. No, hold on real quick.
Okay, I can stay. I mean, I don't want to monopolize.
They want to know.
I gotta text my daughter. It's gonna take 5 seconds.
Yeah, do you gotta do. Don't be Smitty. Let's see what he's got. I want to ask him this question. Someone has a great question in the live. SF Flow. We're gonna ask him about prime time, his favorite prime time moment. There he is. Okay.
So I'm back.
They've been asking because you played with the most legendary secondary. Let's be honest. Merton, Hank, yourself, prime time. I mean, what's your favorite story of those days? I'm sure you had some great stories. Like, what is your most memorable moment playing with those guys, Dion and Merton and all?
Stories. Okay, stories. Some of them I can't tell because people are still alive. That's one of the rules. That's one of the rules that the DB room has, and you can't say certain things until people die. And we live by that. Okay, stories. It depends on. I mean, there are some. I mean, there are so many crazy things that happen. One of the funniest, absolute funniest stories to me was the day that Toy Cook, the dude. Everybody had a nickname, so the dude, number 41, Toy Cook, and Prime, they got into a fight in the yes, that happens, guys. Because remember, you got a room full of alpha men, and it doesn't take much to upset one another. And it's not like guys are hired killers. I mean, I'm not trying to act like I walk around and I'm ready to just take out the world, but it's kind of like when I got into it with Ken Norton when he told me I'm gonna slap you in the face, and I was like, I can't say that you won't slap me, Ken, but I can say that it ain't over. But back to those two dudes.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother story. Me and Ken fighting. Actually, that's the only. Ken Norton is the only the only teammate I ever had that I fought with.
wow,
only one.
Oliver.
And we're cool, great friends, talk all the time. But he's the only teammate that I ever really got into a physical fist fight with. But now Prime, so Prime and Toy Cook was there. So it started off, and it was one of these simple things where we were in a defense, and the way the defense was supposed to be played, they were going to put all the corners. We were going to be in a trail technique. And the way Toy was practicing it, they literally wanted us to allow all the receivers to run past us, and we were going to play for all the underneath routes. They wanted us to take away anything underneath, but they wanted the guys to be on top. And Toy Cook, the way he was playing it and disguising it wasn't what they wanted to do, because Toy had this feeling that he could freelance, like we were talking about earlier. He could freelance, play a little chess, and he could bait the quarterback into thinking he had a route open down the field, but he could get back there. And it never worked out in practice. So we practiced it Wednesday. They get Prime over the top because Prime is letting this guy go. Yeah. We practiced it Thursday. They get Prime over the top. We practice it Friday. They get Prime over the top.
Oh, man.
So now we got a game coming up. This is Saturday. We're not going to practice that defense anymore, but we're talking about it in the meeting room, and we get to that. And Prime is talking. He's talking to Toy, and he's like, Toy, he said, dude, hey, dude, I need you to be over the top. And the dude looked at Prime. He was like, man, F you. He was like, F you, man. You do your job. I'm going to be where I'm supposed to be. Don't worry about me. And Prime, he was sitting like this. He turned. If Prime sat right up in front of me, he sat up in front of me. Toy sat on the right side of me. Tim McDonald sat on the left side of me. And Prime kind of turned and looked, and he was like, excuse me? and the dude was like, mind your business. Do your job. Don't worry about me. And Prime started moving a little bit. He started moving a little bit. I could feel the hair standing up. And he started moving a little bit in his seat, and he said it again. What was that? And as soon as Prime, and I knew it was coming, I put my coffee down. I sat my coffee down, and I moved over in the chair. And the second Toy said, he said again, F you, Prime literally leaped. He leaped out of his chair, was through the air, and I grabbed him. I caught him right around his elbow, and he already had his hands around Toy Cook's neck.
Oh my God, man!
And he had his hands around his neck, choking him. They fell down onto the floor. Chairs falling all over, and the dude. I'm just thinking about it right now. Because he was hands around his neck. We pried Prime off of him, and the dude ran out of the room talking about, I'm going to sue you. And that's the part that makes me laugh. Because the dude was like, I'm going to sue your ass. I'm going to sue you. But okay, I'm sorry for that long.
Oh man.
I I I um so I could give you like football stories and things
No,
on the
that
field. I mean,
any
it was
sport that was like, look, man,
no, it was fun time.
behind the scenes, we don't see that stuff. Like you said, you got in a fight with Ken Norton. I wouldn't have messed with him because he's a boxer. So you picked the wrong person to mess with, man.
No, it's all how you look at it. You know, it's all how you look at it. Like first of all, I didn't pick anything, but like I just said, I'm no punk, and I just tried to explain to him like, Ken, it's not going to be that easy because it's not going to end. It's not going to end. And I just told him, like I should tell all the big guys, like you will get no peace. Well, you will get no
Oh,
peace because like once we start fighting, we're fighting.
yeah,
We're fighting. Now that fight can happen in the meeting room. That fight can happen in the shower. Like you sitting there with soap in your eyes, and all of a sudden you just got caught a helmet upside your head. Because once we're fighting, we are fighting. You're the enemy until it's over. Until we mutually decide this is
it's
ended.
over.
Because I can't assume that you're gonna stop.
Yeah,
That's
you don't put
that's
your guard down.
that's the locker room. That's the locker room.
Oh, man.
That's how it is when guys get into it. It's all I mean, you love one another, but you fight like brothers.
Yeah, you brothers. That's exactly it is. But you go to war for each other.
You go to war for each other, and you go to war with each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it, because it's that type love, and it's
Yeah.
and you know we pound respect into one another. That's how it used to be. I don't know how it is now with these guys. I'm not in there now, but that's how it used to be.
Oh man, that sounds like it was just a hell of a locker room to be. I mean, because those teams were so like they were so good, man. You guys had talent from the
We
punter.
had talent, yeah. We had talent. We had fun. I mean, we'd be in games. I remember being in games, and you'd sit there, and Tim McDonald. I may have told you how intense he would be. Tim would bite his lip. He would bite through his bottom lip. I mean, literally, his teeth would come until he was bleeding. And I would tap him on the shoulder all the time. I was like, Tim, stop biting yourself. But he would be that intense in the game. When he really got mad, he'd start biting through his bottom lip. But now this same dude that had that type focus, we would be in the huddle, and he'd call you up, and you think it's something serious. He'd be like, Edie, come here, Merk, come on. You know, he'd call us over, and he'd call Prime and everybody, like, come here. And it would be something like, it's like the Joe Montana thing where he would sit here and he would be like, okay, man, he'd like, look at section, 30, like it's like the fourth row over. Look at the person sitting in that seat right there. And he'd start talking about somebody and what they're wearing, or how pretty somebody was, or how funny something looked. It would have nothing to do with the game. And we're sitting there like, what's the call, man? Like the other guys are coming out of the huddle.
You
But
just
that's
need to
but
know
that's what
play.
and we hadn't even got to play yet. But he would start doing stuff like that because and the reason was, it was like, take your mind off of the moment, take your mind off of what's happening, and guys would do certain things like that. And last story, well, it doesn't have to be the last one, but I'm gonna give you this story.
Gotcha.
And this is something, Merton. I love Merton Hanks.
He was real.
Love him to death. Love him to death. I know if I told him my world was falling right now, I'd call him, he'd be right here in the heartbeat. And I'd do the same for him, he and his family.
Yeah.
But Merton, there were times where, so Merton, we all know Merton was a big play magnet.
Yeah, he was a playmaker, yeah.
Merton was a playmaker. And part of making those plays was not being where he was supposed to be.
Okay. Out of position all the time. Is that what you're saying?
Because Merton, and we knew as corners, we got to a point, especially when I played with Prime, we knew that just because the defense had an X drawn on it in the book for it to be in the middle of the field, don't assume that he was going to be there.
No.
Because if Merton saw a tight end coming, I don't care what the defense says. If he saw somebody crossing, he was going to jump it.
He's gonna go. So he didn't care about the assignment. He was going to do what he thought was right.
He was going to do, because he trusted that we could cover those post routes. We could take care of it on our own, and we could. So just kind of expected Merton. Merton being in the middle was a luxury.
Yeah, he's like kind of Roman then.
He would roam, he would leave, he would take off, so much so that we started putting certain calls in. And then it got to a point to where we just told him, like, just tell me, Mert, if you got to go, go. Just let us know. and we started playing defenses where we literally came up with our own hand signals and things like that, and verbiage to where he would let us know what we would tell him we don't expect to see him in certain situations. But Merton had this thing early on where we all know how his neck and all this stuff, but he would talk with his hands. He would talk with his hands and get all. When you see Merton on the film, you go back in some of those look at some of the old footage, you'll see him talking to us, and he's doing all of this stuff with his hands. So Merton would screw up at times where he's supposed to be in the middle, and he would take off and jump something, and then right where he should have been, somebody would catch a ball, and then one of us would make a tackle. And I can specifically remember a time where I'm sitting here, I'm covering the guy, and he takes off and he runs across the field, and I'm like, oh, I know Merton's about to pick that off, and I see the ball coming. Because first of all, you know where everyone is.
Yeah.
And when a guy takes off running certain routes, you're like, oh, there's no way he can throw that ball. And then the ball's coming, and you're like, oh, that's a pick. That's a pick. Mert's got that. And then as I'm thinking that's a pick, and I'm turning my head to watch Merton get this interception, I see Merton running past me. So now I know, drop my head and go get it. Go get it. So I make the tackle. Now, this is the thing that Merton would do. Merton would come up to you like this, and he would be like, my bad, man. My bad. Come on, man. I'm sorry, man. My bad. And I think I told you once before that my mother never watched the game. She would record it, and then after the game, I don't know if I told you that or someone else, but she never watched me play live. She would record the game, call me, and after she knew I was okay, then she would watch it. She couldn't handle me playing
real time because she didn't want to see me get hurt. Oh wow.
She didn't want to see me get hurt. After I got hurt, she couldn't handle that. So she would call me. So I happened to see one of the television copies. I had never known it because there's no sound on what we watched. I had never seen it like that. And that particular play I saw, and John Madden was literally saying on that play where Merton had screwed up, I saved his ass. Merton was like, John Madden was like, oh, Merton Hanks is really giving it to Eric Davis for not being in position. That is veteran leadership right there. That's what you want your safeties to go. See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So after that, I told the fellas in the DB room, and after that, when something would happen, everybody would just kind of walk away from Merton because we all knew he was.
I wasn't telling you something. He was telling you, "Oh, my bad."
He would literally. I'm telling you, he was like, "Come on, man, my bad. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry." And it would look like he was chewing you out.
Yeah.
And so we all learned. Yes, we all learned.
Chewing out Eric Day, but meanwhile he's chewing himself out.
He's apologizing because he's not screwing himself out. He's like, I just effed that up. And I'm like, I know you just effed that up, but we learned to say from a distance, Mert, what the hell?
What the hell, man? He was I love Merton. I think everybody that watched that team, because he was such a personality. He got the interception, did a little dance and everything. Like I remember playing, backyard football. Anytime you get an interception, everybody pretended they were Merton Hanks doing the little dance and stuff.
His pigeon dance.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Sesame Street. Yeah. That dude. I can tell you, man. We had a lot of fun. A lot of that entire squad. A lot of jokes. We played around. We would always get with the DBs. With the D linemen. Whenever we caught a D lineman by himself, all the DBs would jump on him and pound him, and just try to bruise him up. But the flip side of that is whenever they caught one of us by ourselves, we were gonna get punished. You got to get ready. It was rope-a-dope time. You better cover your ribs because they were gonna try to get you. And they would always come in. So we'd have the rookies. Now this is gonna be my last one. We would always have the rookies come in, and they have to bring breakfast or something like that for us.
Oh, you got to do that.
Yeah, we were pretty easy on ours. When I was a rookie, I was the only rookie. And, I had Ronnie and all these guys, these 10-year vets, Ronnie and E. Wright and everything. So I had these exotic dudes, man. Before the flight, I would have to go. So, okay, Eric Wright wanted barbecue from Flint's.
Mm-hmm.
Ronnie it was this particular Chinese restaurant in Cupertino that he wanted his Chinese food from. E. Wright, I'm sorry, Chet Brooks had a place over in Santa Cruz
Oh my God.
that he wanted. So I was going over the hill. So the second we left practice, I'd head over the hill. I'd have to go get his food. I was running all the way around. I pretty much
Yeah,
had
that's
it
a lot
looped
of
out.
drive. I drove.
I got it worked out to where I would end up, and then I normally would do Flint's last, and then because we always flew out of SFO, so I would, but I was humping it, and it was Friday. We always flew on Friday.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a lot of traffic on the road in the Bay on Friday.
Yeah,
so that was so I was great. So we weren't that bad, but so back to the donuts and the D linemen. So we had this one particular week where they come in and they'd bring in the breakfast. It was Deuce Tyrone Drakeford. He'd have all the breakfast sandwiches and donuts and everything because there are guys who love donuts. And the D lineman, mainly Stubblefield, Bubbles would come in and eat all the donuts, and he would always eat the jelly donuts. And there were certain jelly donuts that some of the T-Mac like. And 2-8 Dana Hall, they liked, and he would always eat them. So we told him, stay out or you have a problem.
Yeah.
They kept coming. It happened again. So the second time it happened, we told him. We were like, come out, and Bubbles got all like, man, what are y'all gonna do? Y'all little MF, y'all can't do nothing. I'm like, okay, Bubbles. All right. So that next day, because what would happen, we would have our team meeting. Then we'd have our group meeting with the defense. We break off. So you got your team meeting, then you break off into offense, defense, and then you go into your groups.
Your group.
So they would always. So while we were in the team meeting, that's when they would sneak in. When we were in our group meeting, they'd sneak in before we got until we went to our individual groups, and that's when he would always get them. So I decided I was going to go and fix that. So I did this myself. I went into the training room and I got some turbo laxatives.
Oh no.
I slowly got all out of the jelly donut. I squeezed it all out. I sat there while we were in the meeting and I crushed the entire, I'm not lying. I'm talking about a bottle damn near this big.
Oh no.
I just crushed it all up. I crushed them up and poured them in there and put the stuff, and I started like putting stuff in there because I knew he wasn't gonna pay attention to them. And I was like, and at the time we didn't know exactly which lineman it was.
Yeah.
But we knew we were gonna find out.
You were about to find out whoever's in the shitter.
Okay, I'm gonna shitter. He didn't make it there. So when we went out for walkthrough, because we always have a practice before practice. You walk through everything. So every day, so you guys know how it is. You have a walkthrough where you basically go through all the new defenses, offenses, and everything to kind of get a visual of it because people learn differently. Some people need to see it on film. Some people look at it on a playbook. Some people, they have to walk through it. So we do all of those things every day before we practice. We made it through that, and we were kind of looking at the linemen, still seeing like what's happening. So we go back, we hit practice. On the way out to practice, this is when it hit. And because we always start warming up like a little bit before we get out there on the field. And you could see that Bubbles wasn't feeling right. and we just kept watching him. And you can see him holding his stomach and things weren't right. And I'm gonna leave the rest up to your imagination. And all I'm gonna say, he started back towards the locker room. He didn't make, because there's the locker room and then you got the turf field and then we got the practice field. He didn't make it past the turf field back in. And
didn't make it out there.
He had to change. But I told him to stay away from my damn donuts.
Yeah, stay away from the donuts. He learned his lesson. Now, did he stay away from the donuts after that?
Oh, of course he did.
Of course he did. See, he learned his lesson.
Yes, he learned his lesson on, at least on the donuts he did. Yes, he did.
Remind me never to mess with you. You know what? I wish we could get those hackers back the way you did them. Oh my God.
Well, but that's okay. So that's just that. But trust me, I played a long time. I got a lot of stories. I got a lot of silly stories because guys are silly.
Yeah.
Guys are. I mean, we spend so much time around one another, and we have to have fun. And remember, it's a football game. No one calls it football work. So you got a bunch of guys that aren't afraid to do crazy things, and a lot of crazy things happen.
Oh,
And
you got to, like you said, you got to. It's a long season. You got to keep your spirits up, and you can mentally break down.
yeah, when it's good or bad, you still have to do that because it's a lot of pressure when you're winning.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure when you're losing. Both are mentally taxing. I've been on really good teams. I've been on really bad teams. Both are mentally taxing. The expectations are always there, and pressure is always there.
Yeah, everybody wants you to win, and then when you're winning, sometimes it's not good enough. Or the moment you lose after you're winning a lot, what's wrong? Why aren't you winning?
I remember in 1993. Was it 90? Yeah, I think it was 93. We were playing the Cincinnati Bengals. It was a Sunday night game. I will never forget running into the locker room. I got an interception on Pickens right before the half on the end zone. And if I do say so myself, it was one of the best plays I ever made. It was a hell of a play on the slant route. And I got an interception like right on the 1 yard line, and we fell into the end zone. And then the offense went out, ran the clock out, and we were running off the field. And I will never ever forget this. I looked at Tim McDonald, and I started laughing because the crowd was booing us. We were winning. We were winning the game 13-7, and we were getting booed. And I said, and Tim was like, "What the hell?" And I told him, I said, "We're not winning by enough, bro." Because he had just come. That was his first year coming from the Cardinals. And I said, "Bro, get used to it." I said, "It's not how you win here." I said, "It's not about winning here." I said, "It's how you win."
It's how you win. Yeah, you know how, and it's still like that nowadays. We could be winning, but people still go toxic and go crazy. And now with social media,
it's kind of comical. It was kind of comical, but that but you know what? That's what we signed up for, and the fan base expected us to play a certain way because we had been playing that way and performing that way, and we were cool about it. So it was like this. Let's just go out and score some more, and not let them score and win, and all good. And hopefully that's what we get this year.
I hope so.
I mean, I don't have a problem with the fan base wanting a lot. We should. I consider myself part of the fan base. We should expect excellence from the organization because that's what it's given us, and that's the measuring stick. A championship is all that matters. Eddie DeBartolo told us we've only had. I mean, he used to say it all the time. We only had 5 good seasons.
Yeah,
that's how he viewed it.
Well,
that's how he viewed it.
Wow.
You can't have a successful season
if you don't go.
There are things you can look at during the season that you can call a success. You can look at this and say, okay, the way we played and the way this thing happened and the growth of this player and all these things, that was it. But your season as a team is not successful if you didn't win a championship.
Yeah, I mean, you play for that championship. Like you said, there's small, great victories along the way.
Yes.
But the ultimate goal is to win a Super Bowl. And
you can, and it's that simple. You can experience success, but your season can't be successful. And when you know that, and that's instilled in the locker room and in the culture, you find a way to get it done. And they are going to find a way to get it done. I'm completely confident in that because there's just too much talent in the building.
That's the thing. There's so much talent, man. The Kittle, the Deebo, Ayuk, Bosa, Warner, Trent Williams. They got some of the best players in the league. I think it's all going to click, and it'll come together. I'm excited. You're right. I think we should hold them to a high pedestal. As you know, they've been to 2 NFC Championship games. You know, a Super Bowl. It's not like they have it on the door.
It's time. I know they're sick of that.
I know.
I guarantee you. I guarantee you. Those guys that have done that, I lived it, bro.
Yeah.
I lived it. I lived after that, and after that second loss, because the first one we let get away, we should have won in '92. We were better than them. We
Yeah.
were better than them in '92. We should have won that one. You guys were babies. You don't remember. '93 they kicked our ass, and after that ass kicking, I took 2 days off. I took 2 days off and I started training, and that's all I thought about.
2 days.
All I thought about was the next time we get to the NFC Championship, and I guarantee you, there's those guys that have gone through that. There are guys in that locker room right now. That's all that matters to them is getting past that game.
I think you're right. Like the guy like Nick Bosa, like I can't see Nick Bosa wanting this team to like George Kittle, like those guys is probably eating at their.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because you're there and you feel like, and someone they took your ring, and I told you, man, that's someone asked me the other day, and I said it before last year during the playoffs. I tweeted out that someone asked me about it, and I said the only way that you are going to win a championship is to pry it away from someone's dead, cold hand. And someone asked me just last week, what is it? What do you have to do, and what do you have to be willing to do to win a championship? And I was like, take a man's soul.
Wow.
You have to be willing to do it because they're not going to give it to you. You have to take it. You have to.
Everybody has that goal. They all want to win a Super Bowl.
Yes.
So, yeah, you're right. You have to do everything you can more than anybody else out there. So it's to win a Super Bowl. You're right.
Yeah. But all right, man. I'm gonna go right now. So now you know that it is me, and
yeah,
we got all of that. So
next time you coming in, we know who it is. So real quick before you leave, appreciate you as always. Go follow Ed. He had to recreate his account. The hackers got him. Don't ever click on these crazy things that people send you.
Don't. I'm telling you, don't. It looked like it came from Instagram.
They look legit. They look legit.
So don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Just don't. Just don't. That's all I'm gonna say. Just don't do it.
Don't do it.
All right, people.
Take the stories, man. Have a good night, my man.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Take care, man. The legend himself, Eric Davis. It's always a good time when he pops in the live. He has some good stories tonight. Fun times, man. Let's see if Smitty's there. We'll get him in. I know he wanted to talk tonight. Get the man in, and then we'll post this on YouTube tonight. What's up, man?
So what do you click on? It was what?
So sometimes people will send like the hackers will send like a message or a link, and it looks like it's from Instagram. It says it has like the Instagram logo, and I've seen it before. It's like, oh, click here, your account's up for can get banned. Like they put like a threatening like it looks legit. So he said he clicked it, and it says enter these numbers, and as soon as he entered the numbers, it logged him out of his account. And
man,
sucks, dude. So
yeah, people send me stuff, and I don't even open it. I'm like, sorry.
Yeah, dude, because you never know. People send you links. Like I can't click on links because I've been hacked before, and it's like people sometimes like, oh, go look at this YouTube link about this Trey Lance video, and I'm like, I can't look at it, man. Never know. Nope. Sorry.
Damn, man. So what did you guys talk about? Did you talk about Trey? What did you talk about?
Talked about everything, and then he just gave us some stories about him being in the league with the Niners. He has some good stories. Like tonight was just like a good Eric Davis story time. It was good stuff. It was good content. I'll probably put it on the YouTube. But yeah, no. So we did talk a little bit about Deebo not showing up to OTAs, and we both think it doesn't matter because it's not voluntary or it's not mandatory. It's voluntary. And he says when he was in the league, after you get to a certain point, it really doesn't matter unless it's a mandatory training camp like they have next month or where when you start getting fined, that's when it starts to be real. And we started talking about Trey Lance and the expectations and things like that. But yeah, it's an exciting time. Football is starting to get closer. We'll see what happens. Kyler Murray, he's also in the news today. He's kind of doing the same thing as Deebo. He's not going to show up to OTAs. I don't think there's cause for concern. And I still think Kyler Murray's going to get his money. And we still got the bets, man.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to – I mean, it's tough to say. Like here's the thing. Like, the Cardinals don't want to pay him as of this moment. But I'm totally aware there could be a change in like somebody coming in and going, look, this is what we project him to go for in a year and a half from now. So like accountants, like money men, the money level people might force this along faster. You know what I mean? But I just think that the Cardinals have already made it really abundantly clear, which is why this dude didn't even get an answer. So he wrote this ransom letter to the Cardinals. So it's like a very different situation. Like Deebo knows is coming. Deebo's just still being a little bit impatient.
Yeah.
You've already been not going to do it. Like, you know what I mean? So like you might as well just come in and just do your thing. Like versus like they're gonna wait and they're gonna sign him, but they're going to wait. Like we know they're gonna sign him. We know they're gonna wait. Like Tyler doesn't.
It's the principle for the Niners. They're going to like, we do this every year. We're not going to change it for you. And I think we're going to wait until we're ready. We're going to get you paid. I don't know. I still think that the franchise for the Cardinals I still think that they're going to make Kyler a priority and they're going to reward him. And I think, like we said, he wants to, he's got to come in with a good attitude. Right now, it's OTAs. They're not mandatory, so it doesn't matter that he's not there. We already know he's negotiating a contract. That's what he wants. I think they'll make it happen, and I think they'll pay him, and they'll be happy because I think he still is technically the face of the franchise. And I think they want to, when you have the coach they have, Kingsbury, this was his guy. So I think if you're committed to Kingsbury, because they did extend him, you need to commit to his quarterback. It's a paired, right? It's a paired deal. So I think they'll give him the contract again. That's the bet we have. And refresh their memories. What is the bet? So if Kyler Murray gets paid and extended this year, I win the bet. If he doesn't,
gets the bag from Arizona and Arizona alone, you get the jersey. If he doesn't get the bag from Arizona and Arizona alone, like Trey doesn't count because it's about the Cardinals. Then I get the jersey.
Yeah, so we're betting a jersey. It's most likely a Trey Lance jersey because we all know Smitty wants a Trey Lance jersey so bad.
Sure. Who
so
wouldn't?
A Trey Lance jersey, and if I win, give me a Trey Lance jersey.
Who would Trey Lance jersey?
It's a nice jersey. I want a Trey Lance jersey so bad. So I'm hoping that Kyler signs so I can get a Trey Lance jersey.
Yeah, I don't think I like I said, I don't think they want to right now, but I'm very, very open to the idea that they're going, not that I'm open to it, but I realize that they could definitely change directions at any moment, just based on the projections or what they pay him. But
it's true. I mean, you never know. They might, like you said, they might be at this point like not obligated. Like they may not feel obligated. We're like, you know what? You still got 2 years with us under contract technically. Go prove yourself.
And franchise tracking. And the only thinking is like there's rumblings. Like I'm real dialed into Arizona news and stuff, so I know exactly what all the radio stations are talking about. So the general consensus is, and that's why I tell you that the fan base doesn't necessarily believe in Kyler. That's why the fan base wanted Deshaun Watson, even though he has all his baggage too. It's crazy, but the general consensus is that Kyler Murray could hold in instead of hold out, whereas Deebo can't hold in. And if anybody doesn't know what holding in means, it means that you essentially show up, you get your check, and then you fake injuries. You don't play well. But the problem with Deebo is not in the same situation as Kyler. Kyler could miss the entire season with a torn elbow or something, and it wouldn't affect him really. He would still get a long-term deal somewhere. A team would still want him out of the 32 teams. Deebo, if Deebo were to hold in and play badly, everyone would say, I told you he wasn't as good. He only did the 1 year. It wouldn't work for Deebo. It will work for Kyler. It won't work for Deebo. If Deebo doesn't get his contract, or if Deebo says, I'm not signing it, I'm going to come play for my $4 million and then get the bag, he has to ball out, or he's not getting anything the next year remotely close. So Kyler could hold in. There's talk about that. The Arizona fan base is very worried about it. I don't think he'll hold out. 0% chance he holds out, but he could hold in and just try and make it difficult on the Cardinal organization. But the problem with that is, I mean, even that, like the Cardinals can still hold on to him. Like it's not like we're letting him go at all. So even if he does hold in, he has 2 years with us. So he's got to do that. And at that point, if you actually give up for 2 years, no team's going to really feel that you're valuable. See, he has no.
I think you're right. Like, again, I think the situation definitely is different. There's more leverage for the Cardinals in this situation than I think Kyler thinks he might have. Because again, they could sit there and franchise tag him, like you said. But with Deebo, going to Deebo, you're absolutely right. Like if he does the whole fake injury, this and that, he shoots himself. But because he has to go out there and prove that he's worth the money, because he had a great season. But if he gets hurt and he doesn't replicate it and he's not under contract, who's going to sign him next year for a big money contract? Like this is the time where he can capitalize. He just had a hell of a season, an all-pro season, carried the team on his back. This is where you got to cash in. Now, will the Niners give him the money he wants? The figure that he's going to want, the $25 million most likely. That's where they're figuring it out. That's where they're kind of at. So I think they will again, like you said. They just want to be patient, and I think it'll all work out by training camp, which is in July. So we'll see. But Kyler's situation, it definitely is a little bit more murky. But I just have a gut. It's just my gut feeling, Smitty, like I said, that they're going to make it happen. And they're going to be like, look, because I don't think they're going to want any drama. They're going to be like, look, Kyler, money, let's roll with it.
But that would be a change in what they've had, though. Like right now, they have invited the drama. They've invited all of it. It's not like it's not already there. You have to want to get rid of the drama and be like, we're tired of it. It's like they've already created the entire mess the Cardinals did. And I'm not saying that Kyler shouldn't have been signed. Like I said, he's very hard to upgrade. He's not the quarterback that's going to get us a championship, I don't think, but he's hard to upgrade. He's still a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. You just can't. I mean, there's only so many top 5 guys. There's 5 of them, or there's
5 top 5 guys.
7 of them that will rotate through his top 5 guys. Kyler isn't. He's in fantasy wise, yeah, but NFL wise, he could get there maybe.
See,
but that's Cardinals will find out.
And that's a great point that you said that, because he's in fantasy world versus the real world. It's a whole different story, because you're right. In fantasy world, it's like, oh, dude, Kyler Murray will get you top 5 quarterback fantasy. But in the real world, his leadership is lacking. And we saw that in the playoffs. Like, he threw a fit, he threw a tantrum, and that might be a reason where they say, you know what, we need to let you wait before we give you the money. So you're absolutely right, Smitty. I can see you winning this bet, because I think your points are very valid. But I just think I have this inkling, I have this, I don't know, this gut feeling that Arizona is going to make this move, and they say, you know what, let's just end it. Let's just get the man paid. It's training camp. Let's go on with it. That's just my gut.
I agree.
But I feel your points and everything you made, they're valid. You have a lot of validity where you come from. So you could very well be right.
Yeah, I'll say this. I feel like it's not like I'm super confident in it at this point, because it literally could change directions in a drop of a hat. I'm 40%. I feel 60% sure, maybe even 55, that they won't extend him. And the only reason I feel like there's that 45 or 40% chance that they will is because they're literally going to start seeing the contract dollars and the fear of, okay, well, what are we going to pay later? Yeah. And if they really believe
he goes up.
Quit. But let me ask you this, Raj. You manage, you manage a whole facility full of people.
Yeah.
If someone came to you and said, hey, Raj, if you give me this big deal, I will stay. And if you don't, I'll probably retire and never do this anymore ever again. If you're knowing, what most people would do is say, oh yeah, maybe I need to pay them or whatever if they're valuable. But at the same time, if they're that close to leaving, if Kyler's this close to leaving the NFL, is he really worth paying that? Then he can't be. Yeah. If he's that close to quitting football,
because then the heart's not in it. You might need to start looking for the replacement. You're right. That's a good point, Smitty. You need to start looking, because there's times where people I think I'm going to look for another place, and I'm like, all right. So then I start looking at people to replace that person, because you always need that backup plan. Because if they leave and you don't have a replacement, you're screwed. So
I would never pay someone that was this close. I would never give someone the bag that's this close to walking away.
But it does depend on just how valuable they are to you. If they're untouchable, irreplaceable kind of deal, then you might sit there and say, fuck, I can't lose this person. I have to pay them. If they're that important to you, then you're going to bag them up. But if they're not, it's tough.
If the Cardinals think they'll win the Super Bowl, which maybe they do. Every team probably thinks they're better than they are. The Cardinals are going to win the Super Bowl, they will pay him. I'll put it. That's where that 40%, 45% is. If they think they can win, they'll pay him. If they feel like he can't, That's the thing is they probably think, okay, we're super good. We can be, but we're so vulnerable. And if Kyler's not at that next level within 1 year, then we're not winning. Like if they really believe that, then they're going to be like, look, we're going to take the risk that letting him play out a signed contract where he has 2 years left, and then we can franchise tag him all within the confines of contract negotiation and contract 101. Like those are all inside the confines. We will take our chances that he walks away. Because now we have control. We get him for 2 years, then we can decide. We want him for one more shirt. We want him for one more. We'll franchise tag him again. And if he walks away and his grit isn't there to withstand that, Lamar Jackson, I'm not saying it's wise. I don't think it is, but he doesn't have an agent. He represents himself. And his plan right now is to get franchise tagged every year until he decides he feels comfortable enough to go all in. Now, I'm not saying that's dumb or good. I'm merely telling you it could be smart. But here's what Kyler's complaining about, the fact that he's heading down that road. Like he's getting $29 million in his 5th year. That's a lot of money. I know it's not, but let's look at this from his perspective. He has 1 more year left to make this $5 million, which he's already got in advance a signing bonus that may or may not need to go back if he holds out. I don't know that for sure. But $5 million, okay? So yeah, it sucks. $5 million. He's playing for $5 million. Then he's playing for 29. Then he's playing for 45, 45, 45, 45. There's nothing wrong with that. And if he's going to walk away over 1 more year and then getting 29, 45, 45, 45, 45, then he's crazy. He's absolutely crazy.
I think you're right. I mean, it's definitely an interesting situation. I don't know. And the quarterback market is so crazy because these guys make so much money at the quarterback position. So I think he's looking at it and saying he wants to max out as much as he can. And that's where I think a lot of players are, because they want that guaranteed money. And in Kyler's situation is, you're right, he has other outs. Like he could go to baseball and make a lot more money and take a lot less hits. So I don't know. It's definitely interesting. You got options. And maybe he's going to flex those options. But I think you're right. The Cardinals are going to be like, look, we can trade your ass. We can franchise tag you and trade you, whatever.
Yeah. And Lamar wants to be franchise tagged. Lamar wants to continue. Because think about it from Lamar's perspective, okay? So you have Rodgers making 150. I think it's like 150. Yeah. And he's the highest paid quarterback in the NFL from a salary perspective per year. He's making like 154 or whatever. Lamar wants to be franchise tagged. If he gets franchise tag 3, he won't get franchise tag 3 years in a row. But let's say he did. That would be the $150 million if he got franchise tag 3 times in a row, roughly. And then at the end of that, he could sign there'll be a big hike in inflation in terms of the values. And instead of being 230, it'll be 400 million. So 3 years from now, it'll probably be $400 million that a quarterback's getting. So he's going to get roughly the same amount that Aaron Rodgers is on the tag, and he's going to have that opportunity. So Kyler's crazy if he thinks that the Cardinals can get pushed around, and if he gets the $5 million 1 year, he's on 29, then 45, 40. Like he's not at a bad spot at all. People think that he needs to do this, and for him, Lamar's taking the other track, and he likes it.
Lamar's different though, because you're right. He represents himself. Most players have an agent, and the agent kind of dictates and says, look, this is the money you got to get, because the agent wants them to max out because they get a big cut of that. Lamar gets all his money because he's his own agent. He doesn't have to cut his money with anybody else. But sometimes you may not be able to negotiate as high. Like we've seen players that represent themselves. They may not always get the highest money, but they get all their money that they feel that they deserve. So it is a different route. Lamar is different, man. And again, that's not easy being your own representative.
Yeah. Wise, but
and play games with you, because you don't have that negotiator. Because sometimes that negotiator is so good at being able to look the front office person in the eye and say, look, this is what my client wants. If you don't want it, I'm going to go take his talents somewhere else. And they call up. Yeah. Whereas I know the player can do it, but they're also focused on training, making sure their bodies are ready in shape for the season. So it is a little bit tough when you're the player and you're representing yourself. But hey, end of the day, I think Richard Sherman did that with the Niners. He was his own agent. So it can be done, but it's not easy. So going back to this whole thing, again, Deebo Samuel, I think ultimately They figure it out. He's gonna get paid. Relax, children. Relax, everybody. He can get paid. But the worst case scenario, and we've said it, he gets franchise tagged and traded. But you know what? Deebo's chilling. He was out in Dallas yesterday watching the game. He hung out with Steph Curry and Draymond Green. So I think all is right with the world.
Yes, sir. It sounds like Deebo will be in June. I mean, like it's May 23rd. June's right around the corner. So if it's June or July that he gets signed, probably. Do you think it'll be August?
I think like July, August. Yeah, like towards the end of July, August. It's like July, like 25th-ish, somewhere around there. And then
why wait though? Like at this point, why wait? It's so dumb, man. It doesn't make any sense.
They should just pay him. But again, that's the way they do it. They're not going to change it for anybody else. Deebo just got to keep negotiating. And I think at this point, they got to kind of mend the fences a little bit. It did get a little yucky for a couple weeks there.
You want to really make this relationship even, like, it's already volatile. Like, why not just fix it for the sake of the team? Everything, like, it doesn't make any sense.
I agree, man. I agree. But more importantly, did you see they showed a little glimpse of Trey Lance today in that little video today, the OTA teaser. You see that the 49ers posted that today?
Yeah.
Trey boy. That little glimpse.
He's going to be, I can't wait, bro.
And it's funny because when I came into the live, I started talking about it, and somebody was like, "Oh, he's only throwing checkdowns, Roger." I was like, "Yeah, well, that's the Niners' offense." Jimmy Garoppolo had a whole fan base excited because he threw checkdowns. And let me tell you, boy, those Trey Lance checkdowns look pretty nice in that video. Let's play it for the masses, shall we?
That was Jimmy G's long pass. That was his like long ball, bro.
Listen. I'm so excited. Look at this. Brandon Ayuk looking big.
Dude, if you can't feel the vibe that this kid has,
I know.
Like,
feels like like the way he commands himself.
Yeah,
he's ready.
This isn't like
he's ready.
Drew Lock. This isn't Drew Lock. This isn't like, quarterback fail 101. This is like, you could feel the vibe. This is Russell Wilson rising up. This is like, you could feel it.
He looks like
I'm not a Niner fan.
I'm there. Just that handoff looks so smooth. I was like, oh, the little release, that little quick release.
Get wide open Danny on the field and boom. Boom.
Man. I'm excited. Let's play it. I got to see it again. Let's watch it again.
Wide open Danny's got that vibe too.
He does. He's got a good vibe to do that. Ayuk looks big. No. I'm just so happy. It looks amazing. And I'm excited, Smitty. I'm so excited.
I am too, man.
I know. Well, anything last minute thoughts? Any last things?
No. There's some news today. Let me see if I can run you through it. I mean, I'm sure you know all the news, but anybody, there's a lot of like a lot of little NFL news that hit. Rashad Penny is resting his hamstring injury. Get ready for Kenneth Walker's season. People are afraid of Penny and Carson. Carson doesn't even have he had like the broken like back and neck. He's not coming back. Penny. So Kenneth Walker is gonna be a top 10 running back.
You know what? That pick looks better and better every day because you're right.
It took me a while to get. I think I was just mostly mad that he didn't go to Buffalo, but I still feel like it's a great landing spot. They
so mad at that pick, and now it's looking like
I like it a lot now. I probably, even if I could undo it, I might not. Like if you told me, hey, send him to Buffalo like you wanted, like investing into the offensive line. The fact that Penny was one of the most efficient running backs last year doesn't scare me about Penny. It tells me about Seattle. and how they run the ball and how committed they are. And DK, no matter the quarterback situation, DK will keep the defense honest enough that they'll still be able to hold their own in order to keep defenses a little honest. Kingsbury expects Kyler to be there for mandatory minicamp. We'll see what happens there. That's Kingsbury saying he expects it. It's gonna he better be there. Is basically what Kingsbury's saying.
Yeah, baby boy.
Travis Etienne breakout for 2022. His foot, that Liz Frank injury, is pretty bad, but he's so young, and they're saying he's gonna be 100% by OTAs. How many? Do you know much about that injury, the Liz Frank injury that usually takes the player's career out if they're older?
And that's a pesky injury because you can't plant, you can't, you can't cut, you just can't bear weight. Sometimes it's a shitty injury. Yeah.
But when you're young, it's not as big of a thing, right? It's more older because you got very little time.
It can become a chronic issue where you get a lot of pain and soreness, and just planting, like every time you plant, it's hard to plant, you know what I mean? So then you're always doing that motion, and it's just going to cause overuse problems. So.
Then this report, I'm sure you reported on here, the Nick Wagner saying that Elijah
used to be, baby,
Captain Obvious stuff. But I will say, as I keep saying, Finkel is Einhorn is Finkel. Davis Price is Mitchell. Mitchell is Davis Price. You have to cuff these guys in fantasy. Mitchell, literally Davis Price is the spitting image of Mitchell last year. And I'm not saying Mitchell's Sermon. I think Mitchell's Mitchell, or he's more so Mostert of old. But I think Davis Price, it's inevitable. Davis Price is gonna get in there and start games. It's just a matter of how many. Will it be 5? Will it be 3? Will it be 8?
He's gonna get burn in there, and I think he's gonna be a workhorse type guy. Like, you can feed him the carries, and he can get a lot of. Like I said, he's going to take a lot of reps away from Mitchell. And Mitchell only needs 12. Like, he's the guy that, like you said, the Mostert role, you give him 12 carries, and he's going to pop off for a big, you don't need Mitchell to be getting 20 carries a game. I think he can. He can. He showed last season that he can be a high carry type, high bulk, but he doesn't need to be that guy. He doesn't need to be. I think when you run that high, at a high rate, you can start breaking down. And I want to keep Mitchell pristine. Year 2 loading, I want him to be a beast, but I don't want him to get hurt. So keep the carries. Let Ty Davis Price take some carries from the boy.
Deshaun Watson, there should be a determination by the NFL by July, maybe June, July. So the thing about this situation is that the NFL's in the final phase. Talking to Deshaun Watson was the final phase, and we don't know how long that phase will last, but I don't know, man. They could easily come out, in my opinion, and say, we're not going to hand down a suspension until his civil stuff is resolved. Or they could just come out and say 6 to 8 games for violating the personal conduct policy, which the man definitely brushed up against, pardon my pun. But he brushed up against some stuff there in the personal conduct policy. And I know a lot of people think, oh, he's innocent until proven guilty. That's true, in terms of the things that were claimed against him. But he still went outside of the league's protocols for getting dozens and dozens of people to come sign NDNAs and give him massages and stuff. So, it definitely was. Yeah, so he
take time for them to make the ruling, so it makes sense. We'll see what happens. Last question, Smitty. My man SF Flood, he always comes with the good questions. He says, would you rather have, I think I know your answer, would you rather have Baker or Jimmy? This is for you, Smitty.
I mean, it's kind of like saying, would you rather get kicked in the nuts or kicked in, the rear end, with a steel toe boot?
Would you rather?
Either one's leading to anything positive, so
would you rather Baker or Jimmy?
I mean, Baker, but I don't want either.
I mean, gun to your head, you had to.
Baker. Die with Baker. I'll die with Baker. I'll fall my sword with Baker, and that's that. It's not because Jimmy can't do as good as Baker, or that Baker can't fall apart on his own, but Jimmy's injury prone. How many games you can really get with Jimmy G, no matter where he goes, no matter what he does? The dude literally had even though he played on it, he had one of the most injury-plagued seasons, and he just kept playing on it, like not making the thumb any better. He's not making any of that. There's no way his thumb is fine. There's no way. Because, Raj, you told me he needed surgery when he injured that thumb. Like, that's bad. And he's going to play on it? Like, that's reckless.
And then I said the same thing about the shoulder. Guy's going to need surgery at some point, and he needed surgery. I mean, I call a spade a spade. And you got it. Like, I know we credit him for being tough and gritty and this shit and that shit. But at the end of the day, the more you start playing on injuries, the more chance you have of falling apart. And that's exactly what happened.
It's like driving with no brake pads and expecting your calipers to be good to go like 6 months from now after you drove on them for like months. Like there's no way playing on that thumb, his thumb is 100% healthy. There's no way.
His whole body in shambles. I remember he had the catfish, and then he had thumb and shoulder. He just broke down, man. And you're right. Like Jimmy's not a horrible quarterback. I mean, he has good traits. He's a good game manager. There's things that he has good traits, but the problem is he gets hurt all the time, and you can't rely on him because if he's your starting quarterback, then he breaks down at some point in the season, and you got to hodge.
Can we read?
Sorry.
Can we read Nora's comment here? Can we read Nora's comment here? It's like 6 or 5 up. It says, "I can't wait till Jimmy balls and Smitty looks crazy." How is he gonna ball elsewhere, bro? Like, could he go and be efficient and surprise me? You just said he's gonna go ball out, bro. You just said Jimmy G. Can't wait for Jimmy G to go ball out. Like, he's not balling anywhere, bro. There's no balling going on with Jimmy G. Could he go and Sam Darnold a season somewhere? Maybe, bro. That's not balling. He's not balling, bro. He's not balling.
He's not. And they say the disrespect is incredible. Like, you know me, I don't disrespect Jimmy, but you're right. He's not gonna be there every year. It's like I remember posting, "Oh, I can't wait for Jimmy to ball to silence the hit." At some point, reality has to kick you in the teeth and to kick you straight in the nuts and say, "Look, man, he ain't gonna ball out." Like, I got respect for him. The dude changed the culture. He's a great person, a great mentor. Like Tannehill, he sat there and he disrespected the hell out of, saying that he's going to be a mentor to Willis. That's silly, dude. But Jimmy, he took the role and he rolled with it. Like, I got respect for the guy. But the guy, he's not an elite quarterback. He can't throw the ball 50 yards. He can't be mobile in the pocket and extend plays with his legs, like Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray or Russell Wilson. Like, those guys have that. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. Like, those guys can extend the play. He's not gonna throw a 50-yard deep. Like,
yeah.
You remember the Titans game and that pass to Kyle Juszczyk? That's all I gotta say. He's a great person, hell of a competitor, a great leader, but he ain't gonna go ball out. I'm sorry, you're right, Smitty. You're absolutely right.
There's no he's gonna be more injury prone than ever before. And that's the part that's funny is people say if he's healthy, he's gonna do well. If he's healthy, he's gonna get traded.
That's the whole point you're making. He's never healthy. And
he's gonna be less healthy than ever coming off those two injuries.
To follow it up, you're right. To follow up, they said, I remember what this team was before Jimmy, and that's it. And like I said, he helped change the culture. But don't sit there and think he's the only person that came out and was part of the culture change. They drafted well. They got a whole new front office. You got John Lynch. You have a head coach that wasn't Chip Kelly, right? Chip Kelly was garbage. You got rid of the GM, Trent Baalke, and they put in their own players. They got homegrown talent. They got George Kittle. You got Nick Bosa. You got Fred Warner. You have players that they developed. And it wasn't just one person. It wasn't just Jimmy. Again, he was there. He helped change the culture. But it was a multitude of players and coaches. Chris Kasurik, the D-line coach, give him some credit. Like, they have some amazing people in this organization, and it's not just one man. That's
it. And Jimmy G had, what did he have? Didn't he have 15 total turnovers last year? He had 15 total turnovers to 24 TD. And he had 20 something turnovers, but they weren't they were retained or whatever. A couple of them were retained, but dude is like a 1-to-1 ratio turnover It's a touchdown at this point in his career. Like, it is what it is. He's going to be injury prone from here on out.
And
It's not that, like,
the comment.
he's a nice guy.
Yeah, you're right. This comment right here, sorry, says wherever he goes, he better have a dominant line or he's done. And that's a good point because he can't escape the pressure. If he can't have someone to keep him, protected in the pocket.
Yeah, I like him. I think, he's not a great locker room guy for this particular situation because of the controversy. Like, but if he goes to another locker room, he could be a great mentor for the next quarterback, even if he plays right away or whatever. But like, I'm not against Jimmy G. I'm not rooting against him. But like, when you're talking about it standing in the way of Trey Lance, you get a little bit different reaction from me than you would if you were in Carolina. And I was like, okay, hey, Smitty, do you think you should start over Sam Darnold? Yeah, why not? Let him go out. Like, I'd be
all day. Jimmy B.
I'd be
quarterback
pulling for him.
Easy. But
I'd be pulling for
Trey Lance season, and it's time to let the boy shine. It's time to let the man do his thing.
Don't it's like you're putting your shadow, your big Subway sandwich shadow right in front of Trey Lance while he's trying to practice. Like, just let him move on, bro. Like, what's going on here? Like, why we gotta go through this all off season long? It's like these two situations where you got Trey Lance unable to have his own shadow, and then you got Deebo Samuel who you're gonna pay, and you're just deciding him like Raj. This is like your this is like someone coming over to do a service, like your pool man comes over to clean your pool, okay? And you're gonna give him the money, and he knows he's getting paid. You know he's gonna pay. And you just hold it.
You're just like,
can I get paid? I typically pay people at 5:00.
Yeah, it's like $4.50, and it's like $4.50, and you make them wait for 10 awkward ass minutes.
I'm gonna hold
like,
this money here.
Go. It's not 5:00, sir. You're not.
Yeah. You have 9 more minutes, but I'm done cleaning the pool. I'm still holding on to this money. Like, that's what the Niners are doing with Deebo. It's just stupid. It doesn't make it
funny, dude. That's funny. That's true. That's a great comparison. That's funny, dude. Unbelievable. Well,
hey, it's John. Hey, we got that Deebo check. It's all signed to go. Do you want me to courier it over to Deebo?
No. What day is it today?
It's Monday.
Yeah, but what month? I'm a little bit behind. I've been so busy in the office.
It's May.
It's May? Hold up.
It's May.
Do you know when we usually pay these players?
May I send the check to Deebo right now?
No. Do you know what month we typically pay the players?
Do you know when we pay the players?
We pay them in August, my guy.
May or do you want me to set it in June?
No, get back to me in July and make them wait. Figure something out. I don't know. Make them play hokey pokey or something.
John's gonna put the Deebo check on. He's gonna put the Deebo check on the dashboard of his car and let the sun eat at it. And
they're making them wait for nothing. You're right.
Zelle. He's gonna go, Deebo, did you set up your Zelle account?
Oh shit, man. They're gonna Venmo him. Can you imagine?
I'm not
got a Venmo that much money. $25 million Venmo.
He's gonna release it to him when he's 27 years old. I put it in a trust.
Shit,
and when you turn 27, give you your money.
Pay him in NFTs.
When you become a grown boy, we'll give you your money. John wants power of attorney of his finances.
Shit, man. That's funny. Oh, man. That's funny. Any last thoughts? I'm going to head out.
Oh.
Phone's about to die.
That's it. Good job on YouTube. Keep it up. Everybody go follow Raj on his YouTube.
Yeah, appreciate you, Smitty, for all the advice and the help and the shout-out you gave me the other day. So, follow Smitty, first and foremost. Go follow my man, Smitty, if you aren't. If you are, I mean, at this point, I'm pretty sure all my followers are following you. But if you're not, go follow my man Smitty on Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitter, and follow me on YouTube, RSF49. It's just that simple. I didn't make it crazy. It's the same name that I always use, RSF49ers. I will post this live on my YouTube. So I think that's what I'll do. Like, when I go live on Instagram, I'll save them, and then I'll post them on YouTube from now on. Because it's good content. And that Interview with Eric Davis was amazing. That's what we'll do. I appreciate all the support as always. I love you guys. Have a good night, and we'll be live YouTube tomorrow, and of course we'll be on Instagram tomorrow. Double live for y'all.
Yeah, I'm gonna DM you right after this about something on it. All right.
Tomorrow I'm not gonna be live too long because I want to watch that. Tomorrow I have to watch that Warriors game, so I might not be live for too long. Maybe after the game, but we'll see.
Cool. All right, man. Later, everybody.
Sure. 49er Global says D Ford getting cut. Yeah, he is. Have a good night, guys.